What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we get started, I gotta say thank God for another day and another opportunity. And as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I got a very special build in store for y'all. Now, I'm gonna be calling this one today the Inside the Arc God, but it's going to come out to an Inside the Arc score. Now, this build overall today going to be a very overpowered finisher and post scoring build. Out of all NBA players, there's two of present and past that it does remind me of: Anthony Edwards as well as Michael Jordan. Now, getting into the attributes today, the ones that will be able to reach a 99 plus on this build is going to be our driving dunk, post control, mid-range shot, and ball handling. Now, we'll also be able to unlock extra layup packages, contact dunks, and most of the ball handling animations. Now, we'll also be able to get a total of 64 badges. This build is really overkill when it comes to being an inside finisher and post scorer, and it really does remind me both of those two players that I mentioned, Anthony Edwards and MJ. Now, as far as for the strength, this is going to be the most important to me, and I think that's what makes this build the most unique. As far as for the interior and perimeter defense, this is a very overpowered build as well, and it definitely can be used as a center for those small ball lineups. Now, overall, this is a bully of a guard build, and I think you're in store for one of the best that you can possibly make going into Season 4. So before we get any further, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. So the first thing that you want to do to get started is put this build under the shooting guard position. We're going to go with the height of 6'7" today. As for the weight, let's put this up to 235. And then for the wingspan, I'm going to put this up to 7'3". Now, this is going to set us up perfectly to move forward into today's build. And the first area that I do want to get into is going to be the physicals. This is really important for every build and really what you should start out, in my opinion. So when it comes to our speed today, I decided to put this up to an 81. Getting into the actual acceleration, let's go with a 73. Moving into the strength, I decided to put this up to a 92. And then as for when it comes to our vertical, make sure you go with a minimum of a 75. As for the stamina, I like this best at a 93, and this is what we're going to be looking like moving forward into the rest of this build. But beforehand, remember you get a +4 from the Gatorade facility workouts, so we'll have a 97 speed, 79 vertical, 96 strength, 77 acceleration with an 85 speed. Now, I think these numbers are very balanced overall, especially for a shooting guard. Now from here, let's get into the breakdown of the defensive end. So as for the interior, this is why I did say you can be a small ball lineup of a center. So go ahead and put this all the way up to an 82. As for when it comes to our perimeter, I think that this is going to be best at a 75. Moving into the steal, leave this as is. Go with a 78 when it comes to our block, and then getting into the offensive rebound, I think this is going to be best at a 70. Now, getting into the defensive, this is really optional, but today I'm going to leave this at a 55. Now, if there's anything that you would possibly do to change or make this build better, comment down below and I'll be sure to get back to you with a response. As for when it comes to the playmaking, go ahead and put that pass accuracy all the way up to a 77. Getting into the ball handle, I like this best at an 85. And then for the speed with the ball, I'm going to put this to a 75. Now, this is what will look like for this area. Now, remember, we'll get most of the ball handling animations when it comes to this rating. Overall, this is perfect to take into the rec or pro-am. Any setting for this build, I think you're really going to be able to find success with. Now, getting into the shooting, as for that mid-range shot, I'm going to put this all the way up to an 88. As for when it comes down to the midi, I like this best at a 76. And then when it comes down to the free throw, I think this is going to be best left at a 63. Now, if you want to go the route to try to get this at least up to a 71 for free points on bronze, that's definitely another option that I can see worth going for. As for this build though, I'm going to leave it as is. Now from here, let's get started and wrap everything up with the finishing. So as for the close shot, I'm going to go with a 62. Getting into the driving layup, I decided to go with an 80. And then as for when it comes to the driving dunk, I'm going to put this to an 87. Now finally, for that post control, put this all the way up to a 92. It's only going to take 1 overall away from this build. And as you can see, this is what we're going to be looking like, maxed out at 99 overall. Now some of my favorite badges today for this build are definitely going to be Silver Fearless Finisher. Now Dream Shake is definitely a badge that I think everybody should be looking at. Another one that I like is going to be Hook Specialist as well as Post Fade Phenom. Getting into the rest of the build, I like Slithery with Acrobat. Aerial Wizard is always special for alley-oops. And then when it comes to the rest of this build, Two-Step and Spin Cycle with Gold Float Game will make a huge difference on that interior. Now I do like Silver Posterizer with Slithery and Precision Dunker. Getting into the next area, the post control, you'll get Gold Unpluckable with Back Down Punisher. Drop Stepper is very overpowered with Post Spin Technician. Now for the shooting, as you can see, we get Silver Blinders, Gold Catch and Shoot, Green Machine, Space Creator, pretty much everything needed to be effective from outside in range. Now we also do get Guard Up, Midi Magician, and Open Looks. As for the 3-pointer, the badge that I like most is going to be Agent 3 and Corner Specialist with Deadeye. Now we'll also be able to get a lot out of the playmaking. The ones that I'm looking forward to are going to be Silver Special Delivery and Break Starter. Now for the ball handle, we'll get Silver Blow-By and Handles for Days, Speed Booster, Bronze Killer combos. Then we get Gold Ankle Breaker, Hall of Fame physical handles with Silver Triple Strike. A little bit more of the same, I do like Hyperdrive. And then when it comes to the defensive end, the badges that I think are going to be most important are going to be Bronze Anchor at least. Now we'll also be able to get Silver Post Lockdown. On that perimeter, I do like Clamps as well as Ankle Braces and Challenger. Fast Feet as well. And then getting into the actual block, I think Silver Chase Stunt Artist will make a huge difference today. For the offensive rebound, as you can see, we get Bronze Box Out Beast and Rebound Chaser. Really comes down to how you see this build fit, but overall, I think you're really in store for one of the best shooting guards that you can possibly make. Now remember, comment down anything that you would change or possibly make better with today's build. So, let's go ahead and make sure that everybody made it correctly. We should be able to get these 3 different comparisons, and if you made it exactly how I brought it to y'all, we get both Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan comparisons, and we have created the one-of-a-kind Inside the Arc God post scorer build in NBA 2K24 on next gen. Now I think this is really one of the most special guard builds that I have brought to y'all in a while, considering what we can do with it. Adding in Bind Your Boost, Takeover equipped as well as gear, you're really in store for at least a +10 towards your attributes for this build. So before we get out of here, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with the response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.